Hi everyone, welcome to the April Talis Aspire Product Update webinar. I am Juan Veloso Olgin and I am the Talis Marketing Manager. Next slide please, Kate. Just moving over to some housekeeping rules. As always, this webinar will be recorded and sent to you in a couple of days and through the Talis Aspire newsletter. If you have any questions, just spot them in the Q&A section or in the chat and we'll answer them at the end of the session. So today I'm joined by Scott Gibbons, the head of product for Talis, then Georgia Georgiou and Kate Brockfield are two Talis product managers, and Lisa Svanfeld Winter, our Talis junior product manager. Next slide, please, Kate. So looking at the agenda for today's session, we have obviously me giving you introductions. Then we have Georgia, who will take us through the recent self-serve updates, and we'll be running a poll to determine our next phase of self-serve. Then Lisa will take us through our continuous improvement process and what's coming up next. Then Kate will give us an update on reviews and acquisitions and show us what's next. Then Scott will update us on the Talis Aspire roadmap and give us some closing remarks. And lastly, we'll answer your questions. With that said, over to you, Georgia.
Thank you so much, Juan. Next slide, please, Kate. So as some of you may know, we have recently just done a self-serve phase 1 setting release, which means that you guys who are system administrators have the ability to configure some settings in the new settings area that you can find via the admin dropdown. This is for you to be able to change and select languages that your institution Talis Aspire is shown in. Fully customize and configure your own branding to suit your needs, and also change, edit your item importances that are available for list editors to use on a reading list. Next slide, please, Kate. So, as I mentioned before, this is self-serve phase 1. We are also looking to do a second self-serve phase this year, phase 2. And what we want to do more than anything is listen to you guys and hear what settings you would like to see in the settings area coming to you. Now, as part of self-serve, there are other things that we're doing in the background to make this work, but bringing you settings that you can configure yourself is one of our #1 priorities. So what I'd like to do to get a bit of feedback from you now is we have a Menti poll. And basically, you can either scan the QR code or click the link that is in the chat now for you to basically give us some feedback of what settings do you want to see next. Now, you might not be a system administrator, so you might not be able to see those settings, but you know what has happened and what has been released. You can still give your feedback, what you'd like your system administrators at your institution to be able to see. And that will help us with prioritizing what settings we bring from our operations system currently into the settings area for you to configure yourself. So maybe think about all the tickets that you've had to raise with our operations team, or anything that you've needed for them to configure that you think you could have done yourself or someone in your institution could have done that. So if you could do that now, scan the QR code, click on the Menti link and start popping those thoughts in there now.
So we already have a couple of answers, Georgia.
Amazing. We'll wait for a few more to come in. Got resource type, time periods, time periods, time periods. Ability to set reading lists to appear in a given referencing style. Format splitting books and ebooks. Create and retire time periods. Reviews, outcomes and stages, time periods. We're seeing a lot of time periods. Any more for any more? Also, if you're struggling with the Menti link, you can just drop them in the chat too.
Just refresh the screen.
Thank you. Customize role names and permissions. Ability to lock down importances. It'd be interesting to hear more about that one from whoever put that in the chat. Please do feel free to add that, add a bit of explanation. But yeah, thank you so much for your feedback that we've got so far. You can also give us some feedback. Currently, the settings area is in beta for those with the system administrator account. For your Talis Aspire, you can click the link in the banner at the top of the settings area and drop us your feedback in our ideas portal. And for those who are not a system administrator but would still like to give your thoughts, please do visit our ideas portal and give us some ideas as well there. So thank you so much for your feedback, everybody. And I think that's it, Juan. I'll pass over to Lisa next to give us some updates on continuous improvements.
Awesome. Thanks, Georgia. So yeah, I will talk a little bit about the continuous improvement work that I've been coordinating and how we work. So I will first talk a little bit about what it is and how we work with it, and after that about what we've done very recently or what you can be expecting very soon. So what's continuous improvement? Well, it's us continuously asking how we can make Aspire better in addition to the bigger plans and themes, the ones that Georgia and Kate are talking about. We keep our eyes open for Zendesk tickets, for the AHA Ideas portal that we're getting in, but going through the ideas every week. We're keeping an eye on Discord as the newest forum. We get other feedback, often from customer success if you've been talking with them, or if we have our discovery calls and so on. We try to find, of course, ways when we use it ourselves to see if there's some things that could make it better or how the visions look for us for the future. We also try to future-proof the system so that hopefully you won't even notice that we made changes that make it better in the future. And also so that it becomes more robust and flexible for different ways of use. We know that we have many of you use Aspire a little bit differently from each other and have different implementations. So we want that to be seamless. And also some of these bigger themes, we know already in advance that this is something would be nice to do later, but we want to give you the product as quickly as possible. So we know, okay, maybe we will work on this a bit later. And then when we get all this info, we consider together, is maybe this idea something that we are planning to do later? So then it maybe gets pushed a little bit forward in the roadmap where we know that we're going to work with these things. We think about what the impact is. As I said, there's a lot of also institutional differences. So we don't want to make a change that then causes troubles for someone else. And then we think a lot about when to do these changes. When would it be helpful for you, or also when it would be unhelpful? We don't want to make big changes at times when you have peak hours, rush hour with the reading list from academics and so on. Many of you have really great guides and tutorials for your academics and students. So we've tried to make sure that we don't make changes in these at the time when it's difficult for you to change them. And then, of course, we think about how it fits with the other themes work. Could you give the next slide, please, Kate? And here's what we've been doing and what's coming really soon. We very recently released an OCLC bookmarking improvement, and we're working on a DCS rollover integration improvement and on a CLA return adjustment, where it will work a little bit differently how it takes dates behind the scenes, so to say. And also where we want RL to ignore the copyright symbol when it's saving information of the publication date, which some of you have in your library catalogs. Now, these are all improvements that do not change anything for how you for your processes and your routines. Most of you will also not notice them at all. So it's more about future-proofing and making it more robust. And then this summer, we have multiple improvements coming up. And many of them are things that have come directly from you, often through the ideas portal. What we've been considering here are how we could display the publish list button and the Google preview buttons in a better way, whether we can increase the details that are viewable in a reading list and how that would look, and also how we could improve the invites process for an academic if you want someone to collaborate on a list, and also how a broken link can be reported in a way that works better for you. These are all changes where there will be smaller differences in how Aspire will look like for students and academics. You can expect them to come in July, and we will obviously keep you updated about it, and hope to give you enough time to review your guides if you need to change anything there. And I will give it over to Kate.
Thank you very much, Lisa. Just want to make sure you can hear me. All right, reviews and acquisitions. Quite excited to get actually working on this after so many months of planning. So just a quick update on the integration. We've done a beta test for our OCLC users with WMS. You are going through a process of testing creating purchase requests from Brown's Books, and that's right in the review screen. I'll show you a screenshot of that in a moment. Next week and the week after, we will be taking calls with those of you who were able to do some beta testing for us, and we're looking forward to chatting through those that experience with you and figuring out from your feedback and from our knowledge of our other customers where the best next steps will be to enhance this for everyone's use. So just a quick screenshot for those who might not have seen it. This may give others an idea of what the other integrations might look like as well. So in an individual review, when you select on an item, there's a suppliers tab that shows up. And what the beta testers are seeing is for Brown's Books, if they have the option to purchase through Brown's, through WMS, they will have the ability to click create and log in through the API to their WMS system, create that purchase request on whichever resources that they're interested in. And then when they come back to reviews, they'll now have a view button, so they'll be able to see it. They'll also have a create button, so you can create as many as you need. And then you'll always be able to view the last one. And for WMS, it will just take you right in where you can see the rest of them as well. So this is kind of the idea of how we're bringing some functionality back into reviews that'll impact the acquisition librarians in particular. So wish you luck with that and look forward to your feedback on how we can expand that together. So moving on to the review system itself, I just wanted to summarize and bring us back to remind us about a couple of the short-term things that we're planning. We're not doing the big design yet that we wanted to do because we realized it was going to take a significant amount of time to actually deliver that to you, and we wanted to be able to test out some of the features that people have been suggesting. And we're looking at, so we looked across all the different pain points. And I know I've thanked you guys before, so it's really good to see you all on the call today. So I've gone through and we have several ideas that many of you all wanted. So we wanted to look at things that would specifically either reduce some repetitive tasks that would bring in the functionality that you have to jump out to lists for, and overall just let you complete your reviews quicker, which was a big thing because some of you have very long lists. Some of you have all kinds of things which will slow you down during the busy periods. So I will first bring you through the 2 things that we just released this week, and then I'll show you what's coming up in subsequent weeks. We're probably doing on average 2 a week, but it won't be exact. And we're going to try to bring in as much as we can between now and the end of June, and then we'll take your feedback and we'll figure out what the next best steps are. In some cases, there were some wonderful things that we could do, and there were some really quick things we could do, and we're trying to break that up and start to give you that advantage immediately, and then we'll see where the best places to expand that. So yesterday, some of you already noticed, we did 2 things. We made the filters so that they will stick. So for those of you who are filtering in, I know all of you have different ways of organizing at your universities. Some of you have 1 person doing everything. Some of you have 3 teams working on things. So in this case, if you filter down, if you're a person who filters down to figure out which reviews you want to work on, and then you have 15 reviews that you want to work on, you go into the first one and you do your actions, do your outcomes, and then you come back out to the list. Currently, well, as of yesterday, you would have to re-select your filters, remember your place. And this will just, they will stay now, and you'll have a button to clear your filters when you're ready. We've tested it. We've been able to log out and log back in, and the filters are still there. So that should help you significantly. So let us know how that's working for you, and if you have any issues, we'd be happy to hear that. Thank you, Nikki. Good to hear. Second thing is outcomes log moved to a tab. Now, this might not seem immediately, how is this helping us? Now we have to go click on the outcomes tab. However, a couple things. First of all, if there's no outcomes, then you'll see a 0, as you see in this example. And so you won't even obviously have to click on it. If you do, it'll just say no outcomes, just the way it did now. So it was currently in a panel in the resource info. And like suppliers, we've moved it out to outcomes. But what we want to do is bring in some of the other functionality that you've asked for, and that we are hoping will give you a really huge improvement. So some of these things, the first 2 things are in development right now, and the next 2 are coming in shortly thereafter. So setting outcomes in bulk. Currently, you need to, for each item in your review, you need to do 4 clicks in order to save it. Maybe you're doing some typing. Will allow you to select. So if you're working kind of more factory style, where say you want to do link checking on 8 of your reviews and then come back and do ordering stock or ordering from another location, something like that. Now you can do those all together. So you'll be able to just select all of them and mark the outcome once. And I'm hoping that will at least start to give you the advantage that you're looking for. There are some obvious enhancements after that, and we have some assumptions, but again, I'd like to get your feedback on that. And hopefully that'll be out in the next couple of weeks. But stay tuned. Sorting reviews. Now, we talked about sorting reviews quite a bit on the feedback calls last year. Some of you asked, could we sort it in the same order as the list? Because it would make things easier to find as you're comparing back and forth. So yes, we can sort in the order of the list. It won't be an exact opposite, it won't be an exact replica. You won't be seeing the sections or any of the paragraph commentary, but the items will be in the same order. You will also have the order to sort them by title, if that will help you. I know different people, as Lisa said, different people work in different ways, and on different reviews, you may need to be doing different things. So hopefully that will give you some new options. And then the third one I'm quite excited about. There's a number of different functions. One thing is that you spend a lot of time in the lists. You've said checking links, checking where the links go, checking did the academic tick the box on view online or not? Were they supposed to? Is there a proxy? Where is that going? So we will bring that into the panel. So now that we've moved the outcomes audit trail into another tab, we can now have room to bring those links so you can see immediately all those questions that you've had. And I'll give you more detail on the next webinar. Actually, I think I should be able to share that information with Juan for the upcoming newsletters as well. So you'll see that. And then finally, the alerts. That was probably one of the top requests from all of the discussions we had, was that there were so many alerts that they just became a little bit useless, and it wasn't always easy to tell what was needed to happen next. So what we will do, we can do quite easily, is for the exclamation marks, at least, we can start differentiating. If you go out to the Talis support page that talks about the alerts, about 2/3 of the way down the page, you'll see the 5 different alerts, and we'll be able to now differentiate for you. It's in design now, but either colors or text or an icon, something just to make it easier for you. And hopefully that will make everything easier to tell what is needed next on the review. So we'll start there. There could be some other options. Any questions here before I move on to integrations?
There's a couple on the chat.
I'm just looking now. I see
okay.
Hazel and Jill. Give me 1 second. By importance,
Yes,
that's a
sort
good
by order
question.
added to list is
Yeah.
the current default, and that will be retained, so you can still switch back to that, I believe.
That's right.
Is the
Yes.
plan.
That'll be the default. Yes, that's correct, Scott. I'm going to come back to the other ones. We can save these questions, correct, Juan? Because I'll need to adjust these.
Yes.
All right, great, thanks.
Hmm.
All right. Okay, I'm gonna move on. Jill and others, let me come back to you after for some of those questions. I'm just gonna give you a little bit of information now. We have started looking into, and I've been talking about this a lot over the last year, but the mandatory importances. This will be an option. Not all of you want it, not all of you use importances, but those of you who want to enforce it, we will provide you that option. We are looking at different ways on how we might do that easily. We want to get you these quick wins out first. So we decided to push this a little bit, but again, we're planning to bring that in the next 2 months. And then the ProQuest Oasis integration, that ought to help, just the way we looked at WMS Brown's books earlier. Hopefully you'll be able to bring some of that functionality right into the review, so you can look at your purchasing acquisitions there. And then we'll want to get feedback from anybody who's interested. We'll probably ask for beta testers there as well. And that way we can get your direct feedback and what will help you have the smoothest workflow and what you need to actually use this feature. So finally on these, David Renfrey asked me to just share with you guys to watch the space. There is a page out. If you Google Talis Aspire Product Updates, you'll get to this page. And the newest updates are always here. This is the link. You may be able to find it that way as well.
I've shared it on the chat. So
Great, thanks so much. Okay, so that is it, and I will read through your questions while I hand over to Scott. Thanks, Scott.
Lots of interesting stuff there from Kate. I'm looking forward to seeing that come out. If you could just go on to the next slide, please, Kate. So we're just currently working with the dev team, our UX team, and our whole product team to see what improvements and features we can deliver in the rest of 2024. We will be sharing this in our June webinar. We are going to have a meeting in the next month where we'll all be getting together to actually go through in detail what's going to come out for the rest of the year. The stuff we're planning to do for the rest of the year, there's many items that come through Ideas Portal. Some of these Ideas Portal go into our larger themes. So we look at big themes of work. Some of those items go into our continuous improvement changes, as Lisa said. So as an item comes in, we look at it, we respond to it, and we sort it accordingly. We've also got an interesting surprise that I'm going to leave hanging into the air at the moment, but we will be revealing more about that in June. And that is all from me, very short this month. I should say the next webinar is 19th of June. We do this afternoon slot because hopefully it allows people in the US to join as well. So I hope that's convenient for everybody. After 19th of June, we will be coming back to our next webinar, asking when you'd like next one to be, whether you want one in 2 months in August, or whether that's awkward for people and we should push it back to September. So be prepared to have a think about that, and we'll ask you in June when the best time is. I think we're going on to questions as the next slide. Kate?
Yep. So Juan, I've given you a couple answers in there, but I can just read those off actually. So let's see. For the default, just to repeat that, the default currently is order added to list, and it's grouped by type. So articles within a given journal, for example. So what we will do is right now we're building 2 sorts for you. Sort by the order of the list and sort by title. And you will have, when that is implemented, you'll also have the ability to go back to your current sort. So you don't ever have to use it if you don't want it. And then we'll look at more sorting options, reverse sorting, different things. If you have any sorting ideas, if you could submit those, that would be very helpful. You could tag it in reviews and sort, that would be super. We'll look at that after we've done these main ones that we're planning. Let's see, what else do we have? Filtering types also. I'll be looking at those in about a month, and we'll see if there's things that we can add if there's time in June. So what have I missed? Let's see.
I think that covers everything.
I'm looking
There's
at
just
yours.
one popped
Evelyn.
in from Evelyn.
Yes, that's correct. They can be moved around, for example. Let's see. Does anybody else have any questions? How is everybody today? Are you doing well?
We do have some further explanation for Georgia around one of the points raised. So it was about the ability to lock down our core reading to ensure our lecturers don't decide to change partway through the year. So that was the further explanation to one of the points raised during the Mentimeter.
Great, thank you, Sala.
All right, I don't think I missed any questions. I will take those back. Hi, Amjad.
One more has just come through.
Yeah. Would you like me to read it out for you, Kate? Or?
Yeah, go ahead. I think we may need to add it to the ideas portal.
Yeah, so the question is, would there be any plans to be able to update data on multiple reading lists, e.g. URLs in one go, or bulk updating importances or bibliographic data?
Sounds exciting. We'll take a look in the ideas portal. Go ahead, Scott.
In importances with the self-serve, you can of course change an importance across what importance is. So you could change essential to desirable, and everything would change that importance tag. But the bulk updating stuff is something we'll take back on the bibliographic data and the URLs.
Thank you, Amjad. Anyone else? Christian, I think I answered yours. And Nikki.
Yep, thanks, Sala.
Great. Any other questions? I hope we've given you a firm idea of what is coming up. If you need things in more detail, we can arrange that and include it in the newsletters. Always open to your feedback, absolutely.
Thanks, everybody. We'll close it at that. Have a nice day.